Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my show Computer Wednesday. In today's episode we're going to talk about e-ink display. So let's dive right into it. Now then the question becomes, why the heck we are talking about e-ink rather than LED or AMOLED? What is the problem with our current display technology? Now first problem is backlit is unnatural for us. Why the heck it's unnatural? So think of it this way, from our evolutionary past, our neurology and our eye structure is designed in such a way that it receives front light on everything. Basically you have sun giving light on something, photons coming from the sun, hitting it, then coming back to your eye, and that's how you perceive something. Now that is natural for us. Even in old year, even in like few years before modern technology, even if you have, let's say, light here, light will fall on your book and then you're gonna read it. Everything was front lit, so that was natural for us. Our eye was designed to handle front lit. But when you have backlit, basically let's say you have something like this and it itself is giving you basically a signal, it's kind of awkward for us, simply because A, it's unnatural, B, it does not even have shadows. So that's kind of confusing for us, and that has a direct implication on our eye strain. Now some people eyes are strong enough that it has no side effect, other people suffer severe side effect like getting basically short-sightedness or other eye diseases also is there, and it causes strain on us. Like even if let's say your eye is so good that it will not get affected by, basically you don't have to wear glasses for it, you will still get strain from it. It's basically not a very relaxed pose for your eyes. So that causes a very severe psychological side effect. Now of course, first of the fact that you are in strain, second psychological side effect comes from the fact that because we are nowadays taking our basically mobile phone and laptop and tablet and all that to bed. Now that creates a problem because our eye is also a clock. Basically evolutionary wise, how your hormones supposed to be on or off, that is determined by our eye determines that based on sun. Basically if sun is out, you are day, basically you don't need to sleep right now. Once the sun goes down and night comes up, your brain is like, okay, now let's shut down every system. So we're supposed to fall asleep. You're not supposed to be like, okay, I'm working. This is not natural. This is emergency shutdown. Basically your body is like quitting it. It's like, yeah, I can't maintain it properly. So right now many people who take their laptop or tablet or iPads in bed with them, basically they suffer from this. And even you must be familiar with the fact that, hey, let's just watch one more episode, and you're not falling asleep basically. And then when you wake up, once you have actually fallen asleep, you do not realize like what the heck happened. That is your body doing emergency shutdown. That's not natural. That is not something that we can sustain in long term. That is why like psychology side effect took time to for us to study, because it will not affect you if you're only doing it, let's say, once a week, or let's say you only started doing it few days ago. It takes years to damage you, but once the damage is done, you will have very hard time falling asleep naturally. That is why newer iPads and iPhone and even Android, they are trying to reduce the blue light, because blue light is triggering our impulses that it is day. So because it's so close to you, even though luminance wise, basically how much watt is there, it's not that much, but it's directly feeding into your eye. It's triggering the system, okay, stay awake. But then you fall asleep, it's like emergency shutdown. Basically you are just pulling the power cord out. So that is not good for us. It has very severe psychological side effect, and it's accumulative. Basically every day you will be like bit more irritated, very outgoing, very calm guy would become like very so that happens. And on top of that, like let's say even if you don't care about that, you have to worry about the power draw. Basically let's say imagine you want to read a book and you're like, okay, I'm gonna read a book, it takes me like let's say 1 day or 3 days. No display technology consumes low enough power that can be pulled off unless you have a big battery. So practically we cannot do that. The power draw of a display is the biggest contributor for power drain. Basically your mobile phone, if I remove the LCD display from it and just use it as a computer, like it is a computer, it will be like, it will keep running for 20-30 basically hours. And I'm talking about max performance. Display is the most power hungry component of your mobile phone. So power draw is a very critical aspect for us. Okay, then how do we solve this problem? Problem is there, okay, how do we solve it? Now we imitate paper. Basically many people read things, and I know that's old fashioned, but people do read things. You have books and you have things of this nature. So the reason why these are not fatiguing to us, let's say you can take a book and you can fall asleep without feeling fatigued or without feeling that irritation, is simply because it acts as a front light display. Basically you will have your night lamp, whatever have you, and you're gonna read it based on that. So your for your eye, it is completely relaxed situation, and it's like completely calm. So this way you can actually read a book and fall asleep without being fatigued. That happens because of e-ink display. Now e-ink display, if it is that good, like you can read it and utilize it, why not we just simply put it on our mobile phone? One simple reason: slow refresh rate. Technology of e-ink, no matter how good it ever becomes, it will simply not have the refresh rate. To give you a context of that, our refresh rate habit has been slowly, basically we're being spoiled. Basically, earlier we used to have 15 frame per second, good old days, 15 frame per second. Then came the 30 frame per second. Then came the 60 frame per second. As of now, right now, almost every desktop monitor, every TV monitor, they are generally at 60 FPS, and even newer mobile phones, specifically gaming mobile phone, they can go upwards of 122. Gaming monitors, specifically for PC, they can go upward to 200 basically frame per second, sometimes even more than that. So understand this, like we are in a world where we want everything to be snappy, everything to be very quick. So in this sort of scenario, the fact that best e-ink display can barely do 10 frame per second, a flat house is unpractical for most of us. Basically, we are used to the clicking, twing, this will be too slow for us. That is why we don't see e-ink used everywhere. Okay, then how does e-ink actually work? Okay, e-ink is like better for our eyes, but how the heck it works? It has one consequence, but why the heck that consequence is there? One simple reason. Think of this way. E-ink displays is generally made out of capsules. Same way you have pixels. One pixel has basically sub-pixel, RGB, either LEDs or filters. So one pixel will have multiple sub-filters. Here you will have one basically capsule. Each capsule will have a basically fluid. The fluid generally is mineral oil. In that fluid there will be ink basically small balls, like very small balls, particles. Basically these particles will be charged. Basically they will be inherently either positive or inherently negative. So this way you can change the electrical architecture. So because of them being internally charged, they are always opposite to each other. They will never mix with each other because of the electrical nature. So they will always go either top or bottom, or even if let's say offset, you can apply electrical current on the bottom end and have the matrix there. Basically you're gonna turn on this, turn off this, turn on this, turn on this, on off, basically the way we do the LCD display, and this will give you a complete display. The basically ink particle that is being pulled down will force the other ink particle to go up. Now generally it is done for black and white, as you can see in this example, and the white one will reflect white light, black one will absorb light. So this way you get a very accurate representation of how ink is on the paper. That is why whoever came up with this just calls it e-ink, because it is literally like to your eyes, like you can literally take a modern e-ink display and put it as close to yourself as possible and you will still find it. Yeah, it's literally looks like a paper. It is mind-bendingly awesome. This is something that cannot be conveyed over a video. I would urge you to go to a shop and see it for yourself, because you will be blown away how realistic it looks. Like it will be completely different. I'm not talking about like the quality, the sharpness or the colors and all that. I'm just talking about the fact that it looks relaxed, like okay, it's a paper. Viewing angles 100% same as a paper. Basically if you can read the paper, you can read this. If you can't read this, basically you won't be able to read the paper. So this simply have positive, negative, and you're gonna control it that way. So this is generally front lit. Even if you buy something, let's say modern Kindle, which classify as backlit, it simply has a LED that is emitting light. It's not doing the fancy LCD thing. Basically you have light coming through it, and the LEDs are simple. The LED is not polarized. So it is very easy on our end. It also comes with extra advantage that you can read it in bright sunlight. Basically the brighter the sunlight, higher the contrast this will give you. It is completely opposite to your basically mobile phone, where you have to be like, okay, if I have to like, you don't have to do this. This you can read outdoors completely in sunlight. Even in basically nighttime you can read it on very low light. It is quite amazing. This is really good for your basically eyes and for your psychology. So that's how it works. Basically you have a capsule. In that capsule you have ink particles. They are generally two opposite nature, and they will be like okay, white or black, and then you're gonna have electrically opposing charge. Using that electron charge you can control it. So where do we use this e-ink technology? Well, this makes very great alternative to books. Now Amazon, many of you are not old enough or maybe not familiar enough that Amazon only used to sell books. During that time they invested a lot of money into making e-ink display. The idea was book is hard to sell, so they wanted to like, okay, I'm gonna sell you this device. This was not that expensive, $100 to $200 device. I'm gonna sell you this, and I'm gonna sell all the books online to you. Basically there will be a file that you will receive, rather than like them actually have to do the shipping, and they will take care of the license on their end. Basically you're gonna get license thing, you're not gonna like pirate it or anything. So that way Amazon started to make a lot of money. So the benefit of this e-ink is because of the way the suspension is working on the capsule is very the oil that is filled in the capsule is very viscous. It does not allow you to change automatically. Now that reduces the refresh, but does give you one advantage. That advantage, it does not require power. I'm like, what? So basically think of this. So once you have displayed the page, once you have arranged the particles the way you want to, it will stay there indefinitely. Now of course it's not absolute indefinitely, it will degrade, there will be half-life, there will be radiation and all that, remove that. But for months to years you don't have to change it. Basically many of the display you will see in e-ink basically marketplace, they are literally showing you the actual page. They don't have to do anything because it does not require power for them. So let's say you are reading a book like something big like this, and it has like 50 pages. You activate this and it takes you 15 minutes to read one page. Let's say I'm very slow reader, let's say it takes you 15 minutes to read this page. For 15 minutes your battery consumption would be zero. Battery will only be drained once you press any button and you're like, let's change the page. Then the electrical circuit will read the data, then that data would be converted for the matrix display, then matrix will flash it. That's why you will always see in e-ink everything will go to black then go to white. Now benefit, it's like you plug and forget. This is many times used in basically coffee shops where they have menu showed into the e-ink display. Basically the benefit of that is like you have one big e-ink display, it's front lit, so it's not very hard on people's eye, and then you plug the pen drive, you put the data in, and then you pull the pen drive, you pull out the power plug also. You don't need power for it. So let's say in after every week you have to change it, of course you can just plug it once a week, you have to put it. Now this is a color e-ink display. This is also becoming popular, but right now they still need to polish some things out because it's not good enough for e-ink, basically Kindle standard. Basically the Kindle requires a very high caliber of quality for their display because it is competing against a book and it's supposed to look good enough. So this is there, and the early color e-ink display had very low contrast. That's why they did not catch on. But right now many companies are claiming that they have figured it out. So in future you're gonna see color, basically color e-ink papers, and this will also help a lot of us who getting ripped off by, especially if you are doing any major studies like architecture, medical and all that. The books, oh my god, the cost of the books. My brother is a doctor, so I do know the cost of the books. It's idiotically expensive, and you can't buy the old version. Why? Because they changed this one text, one image somewhere, and they're like, what? So it is an issue. But if once we figured out how to make color e-ink good enough, like right now it's good enough for big large display, they are not good enough for something small. Once you make it this enough, and the fact that it has battery life of basically months, and many of them you can buy right now with 4G and all that, it can change the world properly. And like e-ink has been used slowly, they are creeping everywhere. Even one company tried to put e-ink display basically on the backside of the mobile phone. The idea was, if you are going in a plane, if you are a regular traveler, you will have your boarding pass, the barcode basically on the mobile phone, back of the mobile phone. So even if your battery died, your boarding pass will keep showing. So that was a very unique idea, and it also has the advantage like you can just use your mobile for gaming, the LCD for the gaming, and then you flip it and you enjoy the e-ink for basically light reading and all that. So it is becoming popular day by day. But once we have cracked the color e-ink display, of course everything is going to change again. At that point then you can start seeing this implemented in school, because this does not have bad side effect for the eyes. So the use of e-ink is becoming more and more prevalent. Like many coffee shops have already started to employ this for menu cards, and many luxury shops already have this. So it is becoming more and more prevalent. So this was my presentation on basically e-ink display. I hope you liked it, learned from it. In that case, please leave a like, and if you didn't like it, don't worry about it, you can press dislike. I would urge you to press it twice to show me your extra disappointment, and leave a comment because I reply to all of them. Press subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.